What's up, everybody? What's up? This is early for me. I'm usually live at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have not been asleep. I had to go live with some things that I've learned since I went live earlier yesterday. And my live was talking about the Aliens Enemy Act of 1798, the thing that Donald Trump, invoked about these Venezuelan gangs, and explained to everybody that, this stuff was made up out of whole cloth. These people didn't do what they said they did in Colorado. In fact, crime was going down. But see, Donald Trump's numbers are going down. So he's got to feed his base that red meat again. And so what is he doing? He's showing them pictures of how he's treating these people, showing himself to have some sense of strength. You see these people from 14 and up being, walked around with their head bent down to their feet, showing his power. Why is he doing this? Because those people who are in his group that allowed him to become where he's at right now, they're filled with racists, they're filled with sexists, they're filled with people who are xenophobic, they're filled with people who have listened to this man rant over and over again how immigrants are coming here in droves and that they're, all this negative stuff about people who don't look like them. Never proving any of it. Bringing up one story where one person has done something and making it look like the entire culture does it. And there's people in his group, this red meat, they love to hear other people do horrible things because it takes the light off of them doing horrible things. And they look at them and say, oh, they're just bad. But no, it's mean, it's hateful. And I had to come on live because I made a video yesterday and it was all about how the Dems, I'm a Democrat, lifelong, how we haven't stood up and fought, right? And I am adamant about that. And how, the 92% and the, 80% or 78 to 83, whatever it's been, of black men who stood up, posted in addition to the 92% black women, we all have been hurt. We've all been talking about, we're upset about that. And we're just sitting at home chilling. And I'm that same person who was saying that. But then I started diving back into history. That phrase kept ringing in my head. It's like George Santayana said, a famous philosopher, and I'm paraphrasing, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And that just kept ringing in my head. And I said, I don't know all the history about what's going on right now. I have an understanding to some degree, and we've all tapped into saying at some point or another, Trump wants to be a dictator. But we're kind of like half-assing it. Are we really digging deep to find out if he really is doing dictator stuff, or is it just people just talking? And that's why I had to dive deep into this and find out. And that's why I haven't went to bed, because I've been doing this since like 5 o'clock yesterday. I fell down this rabbit hole of knowledge and wanted to share this with you guys before I went to bed. And it turns out that Donald Trump is more like Hitler than we ever thought. I mean, toe for toe, plan for plan, all this stuff that's going on with us. Our economy was not that bad. It was not that bad when Donald Trump came into office. Not at all. We had gas prices were going down. I don't know about you. Egg prices in my area, I'm in California, was going down. Donald Trump promised to lower those things for some people who wanted to vote for him. Other people who were hateful, white nationalists, would say anything to get him, more votes. So they lied to their friends and family and people that got close to them, tried to make it look like they were an inviting group of people. They really weren't. And even many of them who are getting axed from these jobs are getting mad, and they're out there pissed off at these not rallies but these town hall meetings, and rightfully so. Welcome, James Edwards. And rightfully so. But it kept playing with my mind all day about, hey, Benny Loco, yeah, I'm up. Has been playing. It's been playing in my mind all day since my last live that something isn't right. Excuse me. Why is Trump causing all this havoc? I mean, we got everything going for us. I need some water. And we just wanted to make it better. And all he had to do was come in and start doing things that could make it better. I mean, he had the template, but he came in with a wrecking ball. And see, he also came in with this thing he considered to be a mandate to change things for people who felt like the world wasn't going their way, the white nationalists. That's why he's feeding them this red meat, because they're getting pissed that they're losing jobs, their insurance and things of that nature, Medicare, maybe on the chopping block, Medicaid, all these different things in the news, and they're not saying anything of the opposite. They're just telling people to brace themselves. And you're like, brace myself for what? Right? You start to see that Donald Trump and his minions are literally saying things like, well, we can't really bring down the prices of eggs and different things. Those people who said they voted for him for that reason and not the white nationalist reasons are flipping out because they're like, man, everything's going up. So what does Trump do? He's got to feed that red meat back to those people who hate so that they can build him back up, get his numbers back up. You have to understand what this man is actually trying to do to this country. And a lot of people won't say anything on mainstream media because they're trying not to be an alarmist. They're trying not to. And I'm like, you don't have to be an alarmist to just go toe for toe with the facts. None of this like, bringing stuff up that don't even matter. Facts. Did Hitler do this? Yeah. Is Trump doing this? Yeah. Did Hitler do this? Yeah. Is Trump doing this? Yeah. That's all you have to do. But they don't even bring it up. They don't bring anybody in to even talk about it. That's insane. Because you can't watch something go down. Remember, the Germans and the people, of course the Jews were harmed the most, but in that process, they had no idea what was going on. I wrote an article on Substack, actually two, since I got off live, to share the history that I found out and the knowledge and research that I just gave. It is really scary. Most people don't know what was the catalyst to Hitler. See, the thing is that a lot of people start to think when you say Hitler, they're thinking about the mass murders that this man did. And Trump hasn't done that. I'm like, ma'am, sir, slow your roll. Hitler did not come in doing all that. He came in doing exactly what Trump is doing now. Division over all things, whether it be sex, whether it be, like sex being male, female, things of that nature, whether it be with LGBTQIA, whether it be with black people in their history, DEI, every topic that's divisive, they champion. And they give racist white people the win. Xenophobic white people the win. We don't want them anymore. We don't want them. We don't want the woke virus, the woke this, DEI. All that means we don't want people of color and specifically black. There ain't no joke about that. There ain't no like I'm trying to be an alarmist about that. Just listen to any of them talk about DEI. I promise you they'll bring up a black person. Either a black, doctor, a black airline pilot, somebody black to prove their point. Because again, it's about alarming those people who already have deep hatreds about black people and people of color, that you hate them. And it justifies what they're saying because you have an inner feeling like they're not good enough. And again, not knowing your history, you're doomed to repeat it. Not knowing that black doctors have done surgeries and invented things about medicine that other doctors, white doctors, didn't do, or Latin doctors didn't do. Every culture has given to every genre of life. And for a group to say, oh, black people don't deserve it or Latin people don't deserve it just on their race is racist. And people sit there and be like, oh, I'm not racist. How can you not be? You're giving validation to a white person, even if they don't have credit. You could get on a plane with a white person who's been on a drug binge and still end up in an accident. But you won't talk about his qualifications if you do. Says a lot about who you are and what you believe in. And so I started digging deeper into this and start realizing how connected Donald Trump is to Hitler. Not him reading his books. I know he read them because his dad was a part of KKK. That was a part of the whole reading, all that. And people think he doesn't read. He may not in his old age, but when he was younger, I'm pretty sure that dad recited that shit to him. Because there's no way you can go verbatim with what Hitler did and act like you never read it. You're not like that brilliant to say, so to speak, that you came up with this plan on your own. No, you're regurgitating. Even Hitler got his plan from the Europeans and devised it because of the way they created slavery. He did the same thing, but went a whole different way on the punishment. Instead of enslaving them, he tried to unalive all of them in horrific ways. But it's still a part of the same manipulation plan. And so that's what they do. Like Russ says, divide and conquer. So we're going to go over some things because I just want to get it right with you. I want to be able to have this as a resource for people so they can, look this up and check me. I'm Mr. Straight Facts. So if I get anything wrong, then you can easily just say, hey, this is wrong, whatever. But I've done my research today and got a lot of information from different resources. And we're going to go verbatim on some of the things that I found so that I don't mess it up. And hopefully people can use this as a resource to understand I'm not making this shit up. We're going to compare Hitler to Trump. And it's going to be tripped out how you see they're doing the same things. Different genres, different generations, but same thing. Okay, so I started asking questions, and I started off with ChatGPT. Then I went to the resources to find out if these things were actually right, because ChatGPT even says it can make mistakes. So I had to go to other sources. But here's the thing, comparing what Hitler did. And we're going to read it. Behind the scenes of Hitler, he was making moves while causing all this division. That's the part that got me thinking when I started looking up. I'm like, hold it. That's what Trump is doing. All these different fires he's creating. They weren't there when Biden was there. He's creating these fires. The tariffs on our allies, strongest allies, Canada, Mexico, right? He's doing all this with our allies, people who put boots on the ground and lost lives alongside of us in Iraq and Iran and other wars that we've had. Afghanistan, right? They're the countries that we made NAFTA with, and also the USMCA or something like that, what he had, United States, Mexico, Canada, his addition that he made. He created it, And he's still talking about it's not good enough. How is it not good enough when you created it? Because it's not about being good or bad enough. It's about where can I cause a rift and division so that you and me and the news can be off gallivanting, chasing this BS while they're over here destroying everything. It is literally a smoke and mirrors campaign. Get everybody pissed off about this crazy shit that I'm saying. Biden can't pardon people because of the auto pen. We spent all day on that. I promise you, today they destroyed a part of our democracy. You won't know about it. There is something, our Constitution, something they're tearing apart. Remember, you'll hear stories about they have destroyed documents, classified documents. Why? Why are you destroying classified? What does that got to do with anything? You're trying to make America better. That's the ruse. See, they're under the guise of saying, America, I'm making it better. No, they're tearing America down to fit the image in which they want. All of them are on it. And you'll understand why that is when you go to see Russ Vogt, Vought, had an undercover interview where he thought he was talking to two rich white men that he was going to get money for or from to help him move along Project 2025. In that interview, he literally talks about Project 2025 is basically the one that's out for everybody to see. It's kind of like a summary, 900 and something pages of a summary. The other book that he has, the day-to-day plan book of how it goes down, that'll never be seen. We have that behind the scenes. We're not worried about it. He was letting these rich people know, you don't have to worry. That's behind the scenes. Regular people won't see it. Not knowing they were undercover people. And we had it on news all over the place, and they never went deep into these conversations to understand what are they talking about. What is he talking about? Here's another book outside of Project 2025 that's more detailed than the 900 something pages on how to break all these things down. It started to click with me when I started realizing he's bringing in programmers with Doge. He's not bringing in, forensic science accountants who know about money and finances. They're messing up with $8 million and calling it $8 billion. You know why? Because they're not focused on that. They're making problems and causing issues with things that they're not focused on. The questions we should have is, what are they focused on? Because you best believe they're getting that 100% right. The other things that they're making up for us to be like gallivanting all on these crazy stories, they're tearing shit apart. You'll learn more about what I'm saying once we get into this conversation. It says Hitler was working behind the scenes. He was causing all this havoc and this racial division. Let's read. As Hitler was demonizing Jewish people and other minorities, most people don't realize it wasn't just Jewish people. There were other races that they did not like and unalived. It just did it mostly to Jewish people. He wasn't just fueling hatred. He was methodically dismantling Germany's legal, political, and democratic structures to ensure total control. Here's what he did behind the scenes, just like Donald Trump. Behind the scenes, they're doing dirt. In front, they're causing all this havoc. So did you talk about these BS stories? Everything almost that Donald Trump puts in the media gets knocked down real quick because they know those things they should not pass. If they do, just like, wow, that's a freak accident. But they should not pass. It gets the Democrat lawyers and judges all running toward that. Well, they know they're more than likely going to lose that. And while they're focused on that, they're doing exactly what Hitler did. Focus on this, the moving hand over here, while I'm over here destroying the democracy that you have. Day by day, little by little. This And I'm going to continue. These are the things that Hitler did behind the scenes while Germans were focused on racial scapegoating. And that part I have taken part in because I've been so mad at these other groups that didn't get Kamala in, that didn't protect America. They literally put us into this spiral. I've been so pissed off at them that I have been basically in my emotions and not looking at the facts. I don't like these people who did this to us, put us in this position, no matter what party they're in. But the reality is, if you study the history, our division allows them to win. It is the structure in which they build upon. As long as we're not united, they can divide us and take democracy away from us. You have to stay focused. We have to get over our feelings with this. We got to get straight to the facts. And the facts are they're destroying our country while we're pissed off. They don't care about us at all. They care about this power structure. You ever notice that Elon Musk doesn't even seem fazed that his businesses are falling apart? Doesn't seem fazed. Because their entire plan is to become absolutely more rich than any of these businesses he has. Donald Trump's going to become the king, the kingmaker. The oligarchs can be as rich as they possibly want, getting all the contracts they possibly want. That's the game plan. Why do you think? Again, if you ever watch that documentary or in that interview undercover talking to Russ Vought, think about this for a second. We were paying attention, and even the news, still, they were paying attention to that one interview that they had with Russ Vought, asking for millions of dollars from what he thought was millionaires or billionaires. Do you think that was the only meeting he had? No. Because obviously he got the money to fund it. The money he got from who? Did you see at the inauguration all those billionaires sitting over there in the corner where the governors were supposed to be? Those people are the ones who had those meetings with Russ Vought and the Heritage Foundation. Those are the people who funded it. Those are the people who are going to win and win big with the destruction of America and starting back over with them being just massively powered. It starts to make sense once you start piecing it together. Like, because before it made no sense. Like, some of these guys were liberals and how the hell they with Trump? It don't make any sense. Money, power, politics are out the window. Let's continue. While the Germans were focused on racial scapegoating, one thing they did. They dismantled the Constitution and rule of law. How did they do this? Well, there's a thing called, an incident that happened called the Reichstag Fire Decree. This happened in 1933. This was after the Reichstag fire. Now, I wrote my article. I explained what the Reichstag fire was. It was basically their, let's say, their government center, so to speak, like House and Congress, right? Senate. That place was set on fire. Had all the documents and the country's information and all this stuff set on fire. Who swooped up at the last minute of this fire and took over and said, hey, we need to take care of things, and had actual plans in place? Nobody knew this fire was going to happen. It just happened and everybody was shocked. But the only people in control, while everybody's going through chaos, was Hitler. Who's in control when we're all in chaos? Trump and his minions. You don't see them freaking out at all that their own constituents are going broke. There's a reason for that. And we'll continue down why they're going broke. I'll keep a note of that so I can come back to it. We'll go to the next aspect. After that fire, which many suspect was staged, Hitler suspended civil liberties, including freedom of speech, assembly, and the press. This was Hitler's end to become who he was, to become all powerful. Because of this fire, he went to the president at the time and asked him, we need to suspend civil liberties. Because what did he do? He blamed everything that happened in that fire on the opposite party. And we have to take control because they just burned the place down. They're trying to take over the country. We have to take over right now, sir. And they took over, and everybody's rights in that country was pretty much gone. Just like that. That is the same thing that America would have if we were to say that we have martial law. The president gets to do whatever he wants, run it the way he wants it. Why would the people follow something like this? Well, you have to understand the era. We're near the era where everybody's, that we're coming off around the recession or the depression rather. People are broke, life's changing. This man had that hope. We get rid of these people and our lives will be better. We get rid of the Jewish people, our life would be better. We get rid of the Venezuelan gangs, our life will be better. We get rid of these immigrants who are causing all this havoc, our lives will be better. And when they're saying our lives, they're not talking about my black life. They're not talking about brown lives because brown people are in the mix. They're talking about white lives would be better without these people in them. Exact same thing that Hitler did. Nothing different. They are doing the exact same thing. He included the freedom of speech, assembly, and press. Donald Trump started the press part a long time ago, calling the press the enemy of the state and all stuff like that and fake news. The very first phase of doing this, the fake news thing, was the very first phase of trying to take a country from a democracy to a dictatorship. You first have to discredit how they get their news. If the news person is truthful. And then you have to take control of the people's minds and say, I'm factual, they're lying. Convert the truth to your side, and you have the news fighting uphill to tell you the absolute truth to believe it. Because these people don't look for facts. They look for how you make them feel. That's why people say Trump is charismatic. That man is about as charismatic as a turd, but they say that because that's what they feel. He makes them feel that way because there's a lack and a void in them. 100%. So they're looking for something because the regular world just ain't working for them. Let me look where I can gain an advantage. Oh, I got this white guy over here saying I'm all this in a bag of chips, so to speak, because I'm white, not because I'm talented. Look at Pete Hegseth. They keep proving that we're going to improve white people's lives who don't have the credit to be in these positions and call it merit based off of race and not your actual education or work or skill level. Validating these people's hate. Validating that they ended their lives of change. You don't have to be a doctor or this or that. No, we get rid of all these people who are causing you to be broke. The second thing, well, they came up with was enabling the Enabling Act in 1933. Gave Hitler the power to bypass parliament and rule by decree, effectively making him a dictator. You hear, I don't know his name's Tom something, whatever, the guy who's the head of getting these people who are immigrants out of the country, the racist white dude. You can see it in his face. His dude just can't stand people of color. That guy literally said, I don't care what the courts or the law says. I'm getting these people. This man is not the president. This man is not one of the co-equal governments. He is not a part of the legislative. He is not a part of the judicial. He is not a part of the executive branch. And he's talking like he has ultimate power over judges and the law. I'm going to continue doing what I was doing on camera, as if I'm doing this with impunity. As long as Trump is he can do it without, I can get away with it too, because all they're going to do is pardon me. What you going to do? Charge me with a federal crime? Trump is going to pardon me because he's king. They're acting reckless, above the law, the same way that Hitler did. Him saying, on Truth Social, that the president before, President Biden, everything that he said as far as pardoning, it's no longer. What did he do right there? It's no longer because he used AutoPen. You don't understand. It ain't about AutoPen. Donald Trump went on a social media app as a president and ruled by decree. No law behind him. No facts in it whatsoever. Same as Hitler. All right. We're going to continue to the second thing. Purging the government and law enforcement. Now, the things I'm going to start mentioning to you, you're going to see Donald Trump is going to start taking those paths. That's what Project 2025, the second version that we never got to see. That's what that's doing. Purging the government and law enforcement. Loyalists replaced judges and officials. We already seen that they replaced or loyalists in the Supreme Court. So now they have the judicial Supreme Court. They have a half of the legislative, which is the Republicans who are just sycophants to do whatever he says. And then you got the executive. They got 3 against 1. 3 against 1. That's why they're moving so fast to destroy it. It took Hitler less than 8 months to do it. They're trying to accomplish the same things. Hitler removed judges and government workers who wouldn't support him and replaced them with Nazi loyalists. Sound familiar? They're in the White House and all over the place firing people, talking about they saving you money. How are they saving you money when they're giving people money while they're trying to save? Elon Musk got a $400 million deal to have like Teslas armored. It's a trash vehicle. It should not be in a service. Plus, it's electric. The hell are you going to do in a war with an electric vehicle? Get fuel from the sun as you're being chased? It makes no sense. $400 million for that. They're talking about cutting down on fraud. I believe that's fraud. That vehicle would not be able to do a damn thing in a war. Then you continue down the path of him doing so many other egregious things, getting wrong numbers. How are you in there talking about you're a professional and you're saying 8 billion when it's actually 8 million? You're saying all these crazy numbers and it's like 200,000 or 230 million. You're talking about other billions of dollars. It's 232 million. It's insane how far off they are. It lets you know they're not focused on that. They're focused on something else. These are the byproducts. Fuck up. Everybody's talking about it. We're over here destroying shit. That's what Hitler did. That's what Trump and his minions are doing. It's odd how the Republicans are quiet while this man is destroying the economy. All those Republicans are invested in the economy. They haven't said a peep because they know on the other end of it, they'll be rewarded by their king, the loyalist to them, to him. They got a different plan than we have. We want a democracy. They want to be taken care of by the king. Even Donald Trump played with the idea of calling himself a king just to see how it would work. Same shit with Hitler. See how it would work. Just put it out there. And then try and figure out where I can move next. Throw something over here and then go over there and rob somebody. Law enforcement became politicized. Think about this for a second. These officers and people with this, with the ICE and, extracting these young men, 14 years old and older, from Venezuelan gangs. You have no proof that they are. They don't have due process. None of that. You're just snatching them out of nowhere. Highly illegal. All these cases being thrown to try and stop it. They know these things are illegal, but they're pushing them out of the country and feeding these people with, the fodder, the red meat. But you have to think about this for a hot second. In the military, and I'm sure it's with any law enforcement officer, you don't have to take a order that isn't lawful. And taking these young men isn't lawful. Yet these people are happily taking them. And by their boss being told, basically, forget the judges and the law. Do what I tell you. And they move along and do it. Escaping any kind of responsibility of their actions. If we were in a democracy, a true democracy, these men would be arrested for doing what they're doing, or at least admonished for doing what they're doing, because they're taking an unlawful act of somebody telling them to do something. You're not allowed, you're not supposed to at least, break the law as a legal official, as a person that's in the law enforcement. Of course, we know that gets broken all the time, but the reality is they're not supposed to allow that. And they did. They're talking reckless, like, I don't care if the judge does say it. I'm just going to do it. Crazy. But Hitler was the same way. They politicized the police. They were co-opted to enforce Hitler's ideology rather than protect the people. Protective custody used to arrest opponents. See how Donald Trump's always trying to go after the people who tried to put him behind bars. That's why he was saying none of these people are pardoned, because he's trying to go after them. Same as Hitler. Laws were interpreted to arrest dissidents, without trial. That's what he's talking about doing. He's been talking about doing that since the first time he was president. Talking about arresting people just for the hell of it because they were doing shit that he didn't like. Shoot them in the knees with real bullets. It's crazy. This is the third segment. Stacking the courts and changing legal precedents. We already talked about he stacked the courts already. The judges, the Supreme Court, people who weren't even qualified, all that. He's put people in position of power that don't even know what the hell they're doing. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I mean, come on, has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Pete Hegseth, no idea what he's talking about. Kash Patel, give me a fucking break. All these things. For what? They're sycophants. If Donald Trump told them to go kiss his ass, they go do it. Which cheek, sir? For power. It's crazy. New laws justified oppression. Laws were written to criminalize dissent, punish political opposition, and grant Hitler unchecked authority. What are they doing with Donald Trump? Trying to give him unchecked authority. The Supreme Court gave it to him. Gave him immunity for doing anything wrong. Who does that? Biden was the president at the time, and he didn't even want the power. Because they didn't say just Donald Trump. They said president. The president at the time was Biden. He could have used the same precedent because, again, it didn't say which president. It just says presidents are not responsible, basically, for their actions when they're president. The courts ignored old laws. If old laws contradicted Nazi objectives, they were simply ignored or overridden. We haven't gotten to that phase yet. They're working on that one. The fourth thing, targeting opposition leaders. First, target communists and socialists while the public was fixated on Jewish scapegoats. Hitler eliminated political opponents, ensuring no organized resistance remained. See, this is the part where I've been trying to tell people the entire time these MAGA Republicans and the ones who are just filled with hate for everybody and their mama and getting fired now because they thought they was going after the black and brown and other color people instead of them, they're starting to realize he don't give a fuck about them. He doesn't care about these particular people because, again, it's all about gaining power for him. He was eliminating his opponents. That's unaliving them because they were opponents. Same thing that Putin does. That's why he loves Putin so much. I mean, I don't understand why in plain sight you can see this man ruling against America and always for Putin. And you can't see that this man is so in love with dictatorship that he wants what they have. And the only way you defeat something like that is through unity of people. If Donald Trump doesn't have the red meat people with him, it fails. But we all can't stand the red meat people. And that's his superpower. They can't stand us either. And they don't even see it. But they'll start seeing it little by little as they start to go broke. And that's where Trump is going to take them. Because he doesn't care about them. He cares about the power they give him. Donald Trump didn't even pay his employees on time. And people that he did contracts with, he never paid them their full amount. It was always something wrong. Oh, this is off a little bit. I'll give you 20% of what I owe you. Businesses falling apart. Can't feed their family. One guy unalived himself. And they hear these stories and because he's tapped into their feelings and erased any semblance of knowledge or logic toward facts. And as we present them more facts, they get pissed off because now they feel stupid. And they don't want to feel stupid, so they think they're smart if they stick with stupid over here. It's psychology is insane. It is insane. It's like, how can somebody pull this off with human beings? This dude is like the master of grifters. I guarantee you he's sitting at home laughing his ass off that he got black people to come with him. And like, I'm just going to enslave their ass once I get in power. But I can't believe I got these people with me. Wow, I'm good. Them being next to him just validates how good he is. Because they will be one of the first people to go under that bus. He's throwing white people under the bus. You think he can throw black people under it? Latin people, Asian people, poor white people? Of course he is. He's been throwing poor white people under the bus his entire life. We don't wake up as a people, we're going to be in hell where he wants us to be. Then in 1934, Night of the Long Knives, that was in Hitler, in the time of Hitler. Hitler purged anyone in his party who was a potential rival, showing even his own followers weren't safe. Donald Trump has been pushing everybody who doesn't follow in line with him away. Adam Kinzinger is no longer employed or an elected official, right? A lot of these Republicans, Michael Steele is no longer in a position where he can get a job there anymore if he wanted it. None of these regular Republicans back in the day are wanted in this party. And these people were the ones we were like, man, these people are like warmongers. And we were like, wow, they've made the people in which we thought was just like batshit crazy in the 80s and the 90s seem normal. You know how crazy you got to be to make crazy people look normal? to get them to start thinking like, maybe the Democrats are right. They got Liz Cheney and Democrats to actually agree on some shit. Prior to Trump, you couldn't do that. This is crazy, y'all. Try to tell you. All right. Expanding executive powers while making the public feel safe. Hitler created the Gestapo, a secret police. It was established to arrest, torture, and disappear dissenters. What was it that took this guy who was literally just a protest organizer, broke no laws? They came and snatched him up with no reason, no justification. Just took him, didn't tell his wife where he was going, and moved his butt to another state, across the country. There's no crime he's committed. If that ain't the Gestapo, what the fuck is it? He did it when he was president before, doing all the marches and things of that nature, the protests for George Floyd. They used to snatch people up and take them to other sides of town and drop them off and have them walk back wherever the hell they were, from wherever they got picked up. They did that multiple times. Gestapo. Why we aren't seeing this or even talking about this, I don't know. But I'm doing it because it needs to be told. We all need to be promoting this and talking to one another and say, hey, I don't care what you got a problem with. If you don't like me because you're black, okay, cool. Do you want to be poor? Do you want to have to do whatever the hell he tells you to? Or do you love democracy enough that you're willing to fight for that, even though you may not like black or Latin or Asian people? Because you got a choice right now. You either ride alongside people like we always been, not always agreeing or liking each other, but not fucking with your life and how your life is on a day-to-day basis. You can go hang out, do what you want to do, and not worry about a Gestapo picking you up. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. These Republicans are so enamored by wealth and power economically that they don't even realize that Trump has destroyed people's lives who haven't been loyal to him. But what do they think he would do when he has immunity, which literally means if he's pissed off at them once he breaks down the tenets of democracy, he can have them all taken out and just all in one line, buried. That's the type of shit can happen to the Republicans. And they're like, oh, we just want a little power. No, dude. No, that's not how this shit works. There is no government ever that's been taken over like this, where it has fared well for anybody within it, other than the people at the top. Same shit Donald Trump is doing, Hitler did. I'm getting tired of people not looking at history. We're doomed to repeat it. George Santayana, I think that's how you say his name, was a philosopher who literally wrote that many, many years ago, and it's in a book or something like that, 1905, I believe. Way before Hitler. But if we don't know this history, we're doomed to repeat it. They've already repeated a lot of it. We don't know it. And how can you thwart it off if you don't know it? You're not even recognizing it. It just seems like he's just causing chaos because he's Trump. No. Do not discount this shit. This shit is serious. Go do your research on the history. You don't have to believe me. Go do it and then come back. I promise you, it's going to blow your mind. Okay. Donald Trump has already snatched people up. Government monitoring expanded. So they're going to start monitoring people, watching people. The German citizens were encouraged to snitch on each other, making resistance dangerous. Think about it. What did Donald Trump just come out with alongside the mothers or the moms of liberty? A Department of Education snitch system where you can rat out any teacher, any school that's teaching what they don't want to be taught. True history about black people. Any kind of history that put white people in a bad light, even though if they did it, they did it. So if it's in a bad light, it's just facts. But they don't want it shown. It can be reported, and then the government will give you problems, meaning I won't fund your school. I'll fund the school next to you and this other school over here, but you just got to be on your own. Hitler did it. Trump is doing it. No difference. Exact same. Hopefully you're getting this shit. There's no difference between Hitler and Trump at the very beginning. Trump hasn't gotten to the unaliving Jewish part yet. I ain't saying he's going to. I'm just saying Hitler hadn't gotten to that part either at this point. He had gotten to the part of which Donald Trump has gotten to at this point. So when people talk about Hitler, stop thinking about what he did after the fact. Think about how he built to get there. And then start measuring what Trump is doing as the same phase of what Trump is in that Hitler was in at the time. The spider? The hell? So pay attention to that aspect. That was crazy. I never seen that before. All right. 6, weakening democratic institutions through legal loopholes. Hitler didn't just break laws, he exploited legal loopholes to make his dictatorship seem legal. What are Republicans doing? Anything that Trump wants to do, they allow it. They don't fight it, even if it's illegal. The Democrats have to fight it. Take it to courts. And there's so many cases. That's what Hitler did too. Make it so that there's so much shit going on that you can't focus on what we're really trying to take from the Germans in his situation from the Americans. Parliament still existed but became useless. By the time people realized what was happening, the legal system had already been hollowed out. This is the part in which Americans need to wake the fuck up. Donald Trump is doing this exact same thing with our government. The House and the Senate are at a stalemate, right? Congress, what can Democrats do? They don't have any power. And anything Donald Trump and the executive, they just do without any kind of like challenge. In the Supreme Court, that's the last resort. And it only will go there if Donald Trump loses and it goes to them, which is already rigged. I don't know why Democrats, liberals, independents weren't screaming this shit 8 years ago. I know why, really, because they're too fucking nice. They want to be, like, we're taking it too far. Maybe it's not. Maybe no. You should have matched it toe for toe. This is what he's doing. This is what Hitler did. This is what he's doing. This is what Hitler did. Wait a minute. After it got to like the fifth thing of him doing the exact same shit as Hitler, at some point, click, tell the whole world he's doing Hitler shit. And Republicans did that. Democrats rather. Democrats did that during the election. But once the election got over, they stopped talking about it as if it's no longer a threat. What the fuck is your problem? This is a part of me being pissed off at them. I'm going to answer some of the things you guys are saying. I just want to get through this because I know, first of all, brother's tired. I've been up all day. Benny Loco, he's probably gone now, but I was here earlier. It was in my live before, earlier today, or yesterday rather. All right, so we're going to go over how this compares to Trump. And I've already been talking about it, but this is actually point for point. Trump's actions don't match Hitler's in full scale yet. He's still, like I told you, some things he hasn't done yet, but he hasn't gotten there yet. But his pattern is exactly or strikingly similar. Excuse me. He said, do nothing. Hey, Vera, how you doing? So, this right here is what Trump is doing. Weaponizing old laws. Like the Alien Enemies Act for these Venezuelan so-called gang members, which they haven't proven that they are, but they've been loading them up like crazy. Not giving them their due process rights. Like, what did I do? You're a gang member, but I really am not. Oh, well, too bad. Sending you off on a plane. Just doing shit, just like they did to the families of the people coming from Mexico who, they deemed illegal, put them in cages, and then sent their kids off somewhere that their parents don't even know where they're at now. These kids are freaking like 15 now or some shit. Haven't seen their moms since Trump and his last crew of people destroyed people's lives for the amusement of racist white people. Destroying families because you just can't handle people being different. I thought you're supposed to be supreme. You're supreme. Nobody can catch you anyway, so you might as well leave him fuck alone and he'll never catch up with you, right? So you must not be supreme because you're worried about people who are inferior to you, supposedly. It makes no sense. Zero. But by invoking this obscure ancient law, Trump is testing how far he can push executive power. Even if the courts strike them down, he's seeing which legal challenges he can get away with before moving to more extreme actions. This is what I was talking about before. He keeps on doing shit, a lot of different crazy things. Some of them will get through, and he'll be like, that was crazy. I didn't expect that to go through. Other ones, won't go through, that he'll be pissed off about, but he's testing the waters. What would the judges allow? What won't the judges allow? And if the judges disagree, he's trying his best to get the judges off the bench until he can find a judge that will agree with him. So Hitler. Eroding the judiciary and pushing loyalist judges. We talked about that. Trump has spent years stacking the courts with judges who favor him. That's why he got the immunity. Nobody's ever had anything like that. Many of these judges have already ruled in his favor on executive power cases. Right? Then we have the number 3 here. Legal chaos as a smokescreen for something bigger. Legal chaos is what we was talking about. All this stuff of causing all kind of havoc just so that you're over here somewhere when the real problem is over here. The real thing you should be focused on is over here. But they're causing all this crap. All this. Right? So you look at number 3 here. Legal chaos. While everyone focused on the deportation of Venezuelans, Trump, and this is what he could be doing, could be working on changing voting laws, expanding executive orders, or weakening government agencies. That's what Hitler did. Trump has been following Hitler toe for toe, tit for tat, the entire time. So it only makes sense that while we're over here chasing our own frickin' tail, he's over here destroying shit that we love about this country. It's just insane. The public focuses on racism and all these isms while he changes the legal system behind the scenes. It was 960 pages or 36 pages or whatever it was for Project 2025. And this was just a small version of what this was like the notes of what they were actually doing. They already had employees in place. They had spent a crap ton of money for this to happen. So much so that when it happened, they already had boots on the ground to do it. Remember how hard it was for Donald Trump to hire people last time and keep them? We ain't heard about nobody getting fired, have we? Ain't nobody pissed him off enough to get fired because it's a plan. Everybody's in there that he wants. They're firing other people, establishment government people, and bringing in people who aren't qualified to run our country. We have essentially hired a bunch of idiots to run the hospital. You want an operation? Oh, yeah. Go to Doug. He used to be a plumber. But he's a doctor now. How's he a doctor? Well, he used to take stuff out of things and put it back. And what's the difference? Yeah. You look at him like, ain't let that fool do nothing on me. But he's got those type of people running our country, not knowing what the hell they're doing. Never had one day doing the job, but out of nowhere, they're capable of being a boss at a job they never spent one day working at. Not knowing any methods. And you understand, at this point, these people are just figureheads running what Russ Vought already has in play. Russ Vought has the game plan. The day-to-day working. These people are getting a script on what to accomplish. It ain't about America. It's about their game plan. They have a script as to what to do. And they don't know anything else. That's why you can't get Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to do anything with this outbreak of freaking measles, because it's not in the game plan. I don't know nothing about this shit. The hell do I know about it? I never was a doctor. I was a lawyer. So why are you head of a department when you ain't even got the prerequisites to do this fucking job? Oh, I kissed the ass of Trump. That's merit. Another aspect is targeting political opponents. Donald Trump has already done it. We talked about Hitler doing it. Donald Trump is doing it. Remember, he tried to get Biden and tried to get Zelensky to find something on Biden. That's why he doesn't like Zelensky, because he did not do what he asked him to do. He did not break the law or mess with Biden the way he wanted to. I guarantee you he blames him for losing. Because had he just done what he asked, the king, it would have destroyed Biden, he believes, and he would have won. But because he didn't come through, This is why they don't like this dude. He likes dictators. He thinks they're strong. He says it all the time. And he's a simp. He's always talking, I wrote love letters to one dictator. How's this shit sound? You guys got a problem with trans people, with gay people, with black people. And here it is, your leader said one of the gayest things on the planet as a leader, and you guys didn't think nothing of it. Wrote me love letters. I ain't never in my life thought about a man writing me a love letter. And that shit just skated on by. All the hate they got for these people, their Lord and Savior saying gay shit, and they're against all gay people, but allow him to say some of the gayest shit ever, and not stop saying it. He'll say it again and again. Some of the oddest things these people will accept. Trump openly threatened to prosecute his opponents, including Joe Biden. He also called for purging the government of non-loyalists like Hitler did. Remember, he said, well, let's get rid of that piece of the Constitution, the one that was messing with him. I just want to take some of this stuff out. Hitler-esque. His Project 2025 plan involves removing thousands of federal workers and replacing them with Trump loyalists. How can you make the government better? Hey, Jennifer. How can you make the government better or run more efficiently when you put people who are going to make a lot of mistakes and therefore cost us a lot of money until they can understand how the job actually works, if they ever can? These are highly skilled jobs our government needs for the most part. Why it's classified, why these people haven't been through a clearance. How are they going to get in and get a job? Oh, we're going to get rid of the laws. You can just be a clearance. You can get cleared because you're cool with Trump. But he could be a spy. It is what it is. It is insane, y'all. It's insane. And we really got to work on this. 5, relying on law enforcement and militia as his enforcers. Same thing that Hitler did. When we talked about the Gestapo and, politicizing it. These are the things that Trump and him are exactly like. And then creating an emergency to expand executive power. Trump has said he will declare mass emergencies if elected again. That's what he said when he's running. He could use old war powers, like he's doing with the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, national security laws, and executive orders, which he's been doing like crazy, to seize control. These are the things that Donald Trump and Hitler 100% have in common. There's more, but I'm not going to cover it all. I'm just saying these people have so much in common, yet we aren't talking about this on an everyday basis and looking to see what is the next shoe that's going to drop. Pay attention to Hitler. The next thing Hitler did to get in power, these next phases, you'll start to see fall in place. Donald Trump's going to do every last one of them. And that's where investigative reporters and all this shit like that who have the mass people, that they should be doing this. Saying these are the other tenets that have to fall in order for it to become a dictatorship. Keep a lookout for these things. And there's some things that the reason why I'm talking to you guys, and I'm going to look at the comments in a sec. The reason why I had to do this live without sleeping is because I said, like I said, I'm Mr. Straight Facts. When I make a mistake, I'm going to say it. And 100%, I made a mistake. I was wrong about Chuck Schumer. I was wrong. A lot of us were wrong. We didn't know the history. If you don't know your history, George Santayana, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. I was in my emotions and mad about what he was doing and not, fighting. And it turns out the only person who's fighting for America in that situation was Chuck Schumer. Why? Because he knew his history. The rest of us did not. He knew. Let me explain to you what that means. After what we just read, that's what this is all about. When I said, to apologize to him and all the shit I said, because I didn't know the history. The way Hitler took power was to make life hell for their people, and he had to come in and be their savior. It was the only way he could do it. So when the fire happened in Reichstag, when that fire happened, he swooped in and said to the president, look, it's those people on the opposite side. They're the ones who set the fire. I know it, right? And so we need to have, in our situation, be martial law, but we need to have, get rid of civil liberties and all the stuff like that. And we need to arrest them for doing what they did to our country. You can't just let that go. And then the president agreed with him. And that started the fall of Germany into this dictatorship and this craziness. They need something to destroy the country so that Donald Trump can reign and come in, swoop in and say, look, here I come to save the day. I'm your savior. Well, see, just like Hitler, he caused the problem to come in to be the savior. All this shit Donald Trump is doing, he's caused it. Our economy was booming. We had record highs over and over again. Unemployment, low unemployment. Gas prices were not as high, but they were coming down, right? The price of eggs, it just went up a little bit, but they were up and down, up and down. I remember when Biden was in, eggs for me was still like $5.99. This shit's like $9.99, $12.99. Now, it has been less than freaking 2 months. Or has it been like 2 months, whatever it's been? What is this? So it's been like 3 months. It's only getting worse. They keep saying it's only going to get worse. Why? Because it has to get worse in order for them to come in and say, here I come to save the day. So what did Chuck Schumer do? He saved America from having this blow up. Think about what Trump would have did. The Republicans would have did. They set Democrats up for a lose-lose situation. That bill was horrific. Horrific for Americans. Not doing it and letting the government close was horrific for Americans. But see what happens, even in me, that's why I'm apologizing. We as Democrats think this country is where it used to be. And so we're figuring out like, we've done it before. Last time we did it, and it was over and we figured it out. It's going to work. Donald Trump hadn't completed all of his Hitler-esque ideals by then. That was the beginning of it. Kind of like, it could be, it resembles. It's not really. Now that's just full-blown Hitler at this phase of it. So the Republicans are looking for a disaster to become the savior of. Had the government shut down, it would have gave Republicans their win to destroy America like they want to do, just like Hitler did. They need a disaster to come in and be the savior of. So therefore, they're masterminding their own disasters. And in so doing, they're trying to find a scapegoat. Had the Democrats let this happen, they would have blamed it on the Democrats and they would have never made another deal with America. They would have let that shit fall into just to oblivion, to an abyss of just poverty until America's begging Donald Trump to let up and let us get back to being normal and get jobs and people. They would have destroyed. And the thing is, they're still going to try and do it. That was just their first try, and Chuck Schumer was the only one that fucking saw it. Why? Because he knew his history. Hitler did it. I don't think they want to scare the shit out of people and tell everybody about this. So that's why the Democrats, I don't know about the full Democrats, but him, they really haven't went in it. He did write an op-ed. Again, he wrote it at New York Times or whatever. He had an interview with New York Times. All that shit's behind a paywall. I don't buy New York Times, so how could I ever see it? You put it in a place where most Americans can't see it? What the hell is that? Are you really trying to blow an alarm and say, hey, guys, what the fuck you doing? Or are you just like, hey, guys, people who got money, guess what? What about the rest of us? So I figured it out by going through history to see, am I happy with Chuck Schumer? Fuck no. I'm pissed off with him because you could have went on CNN or MSNBC or somewhere that got mass appeal. You could have put it on your own platform. You could have put it on Instagram. Why the fuck you go behind the scenes and write it somewhere where nobody can see it unless you pay for it? This shit is dire for everybody. Americans need to be on the same plane, and you didn't do that. So yes, I'm still pissed off at him, but he did have the right answer, which I was wrong about because I didn't know my history. Trump is looking for the next disaster. He's creating it as we speak. He's trying to come in and scoop in and be the savior of his own fucking problem that he created. The economy's bad. It's getting worse. You're going to feel it just a little bit. They're waiting until you're fucking hopping mad, Americans. And then he's going to come in. I can fix it. Only me. How? Well, we got to get rid of these pesky laws. We got to get rid of the Second Amendment because you can't have a gun because you're going to try and unalive me. After all this time, the person who's coming for your Second Amendment is the one who's been bitching and moaning that Democrats want it. Yeah, that's what dictators do. They take your weapons because they don't want you trying to unalive them because they know you're going to want to do it. When it turns out you lost your house, you on, substances, whether it be, liquid or of the pill situation or of the vein situation, you're going to be mad and hopping mad, and he's going to take all your weapons away. Because that's the type of world that he wants. But all the time, what do people keep telling you? Trump is filled with projections. He puts on other people what he wants to do. He's been talking forever. They're taking your guns. He wants to take them away. Once he solves the problem that he has. I'm not dictator yet. We need to wake up 100%. And the people we can't stand, we're going to have to reach across that aisle, not the leadership, because the leadership done sold out their people. But that's why, again, without me even realizing it, I was like, we do need to go speak to our leaders. Go speak to these Republicans who are pissed off. But now I think it needs to be that way in a different reason. I'm like, to get them to vote next time and therefore we can win and get them out of the office or whatever. No, our people need to get in contact with them to show them what this man is doing. If you think the pain is bad now, it's only going to get worse. And the only way it stops is if we get those people who give him power to give it back to the people and not to him. I wrote a couple articles about it. And on my Substack, you can go check it out. I had to tell the world this because it was on my heart and I couldn't go to sleep without telling y'all. And hopefully this video gets seen by people, shared by people, and people start doing their own homework. It's not about giving me credit. It's about literally doing the homework and realizing, talking to your neighbors, letting them know. If you have to show a piece of it or go and read up on it and just tell your neighbors when you guys are out having dinner or barbecue or family reunion or something, we have to start getting together and realizing that, and I know people are pissed. I know my brothers and sisters are pissed. But Chuck Schumer did the right thing. And it's hard to say because I went off on him and I was wrong. And I admit that I was wrong. But now I know the history, I'm on the right track. And now we got to get back because division helps them win. So I got to find a way to unite with some of these idiots. I'm sorry. I got to get it out my system. I got to get it out my system because I don't speak stupid and it gets on my nerves. It really does. It really does. Trying to give them facts and shit, but it's like, speaking to a nail and expecting it to speak back. It's like it's hard. It's tough. But we got to find a way to show them. I think they're gonna learn, but it might be too late once they feel in the pain. Because right as we speak, they're in the White House, they're in the Pentagon, they're in the Department of Education, destroying our democracy. They're already organized. They got plans. Democrats don't. We don't. So it's hard to see how we can win. But we have to. We have to save democracy. Democracy matters. We got to save it. And I'm going to do everything I can. I want to thank you guys. If you want to support or subscribe to the show, that's how you subscribe. I'm going to look. But Germany was in bad condition before Hitler came in power. Yes, Shadow Pop, you are 100% right. We're in a bad condition. They was in a bad condition because of the era in which they came in after the Depression and things of that nature. Yeah, but that had nothing to do with why it was able to be taken over. It was a bad situation that happened that coupled with the fact that it was an economic downturn. But you have to understand where we're at now. Our stocks are falling like crazy. Donald Trump is talking, and they're going. I don't know if they came back up, but I know they've been falling like crazy. We've had, all these economic situations, like even Tesla is losing money left and right. He lost $200 billion. The other companies, major companies, because of this have lost hundreds of millions, if not, tens of billions of dollars. That's just the corporations. But you got to think about, if those corporations are losing money, that means people's 401ks took a dive, which also means people who have their own Roth IRAs and different things of that nature, they're invested into the economy. That took a dive. Their retirement took a dive. And then you're going to start talking about people, because these companies are losing money, they're going to start laying people off. People are not having work. The government is laying people off. People having work. The unemployment is going to skyrocket. I mean, it's not too hard to see how fast this can take a dive. Right? And so if all that coupled at one time, it's going to be hard for us to fight that. And so you're going to see a lot of things start to decline. They're doing it to us. It didn't have to be done. All of this stuff is manufactured. None of it had to be done. Talking about cutting people and we're going to save money. There ain't enough jobs you can get rid of to end up getting $2 trillion. You got to go after these contracts you're giving these multi-billionaires. That's how you can cut it real quick. Do you understand? We are purchasing planes that we barely even use and spending $2 trillion for it. Why don't we cut one contract with Boeing and stick with one of the planes we already got? That's $2 trillion. You saved it. Done deal. We back. They don't care about that. The pain is on you regular folk. Us regular folk. We're paying for it. We pay the highest percentage of tax, and they still want to drain us of more money. They're pissed off that, oh, you want me to pay more taxes? Of course. You're paying like, what, 20%, if that? 15% if you do your taxes? Some of you paying none? An average human being who's working at $30,000 a year, these people are paying 20% of their income, and you can't do that. 15% of your income. It makes no sense. And so when they tell you they're trying to save money, they're really not. They're in the government destroying shit. Think about it. Why did you bring programmers and not forensic accountants? They're the ones who are going to try and search all the money and figure it out. That's their job to do. You brought in babies that are programmers. What do programmers do well? Hack. So do you really think they're in there to fix the economy or to destroy it with viruses? Why would you bring somebody who has no idea about finances whatsoever? Kids to do work for what again? Our government? These people have been doing it for decades. They know how to do it. They're actual forensic accountants who spend their whole lives learning this skill and trade. And you got a 19-year-old in there with programming skills? The hell is they going to do? Were they accountants? Forensic accountants? Because they would need to counsel with them to be able to create a program that would benefit or fit the job. They don't know the day-to-day working process of that department. If you're not working with the individuals who do, how are you figuring out their job they've been doing for 20 years like that? You're not. You're making shit up. You're causing a ruckus. Everybody's looking at, oh, look at the numbers. Look at this. While they're putting bugs and everything, they're writing code, rewriting shit, having the government work the way they want it to work. This is all a structured program from Project 2025. Make no mistake about it. What they're doing has already been pre-written. It is all about implementing. They ain't creating nothing new. They ain't trying to take nothing away. They're putting in their own plan. And while we're sitting here bitching and moaning about what they're doing, they're literally destroying shit. This is why I say the Democrats need to have a shadow of all these people. I don't know how they can do it with their budget or not. I don't know. But there needs to be a shadow of Doge. Forensics accountants. All these people over their shoulders like, that don't look right. Because they can't go unchecked. That's the part of Hitler. He did that too. So we have to figure out something. Democrats have to figure out something. They can't leave us in the dark anymore. Now that, at least for me, I know what the hell is going on. And I got it because of Chuck Schumer. He made me question the shit that Trump was doing. Like, why would they want to do this? And that made me research and find out. Even though Chuck Schumer's ass didn't tell nobody. I don't know. Anyway. To the debt. Yeah. Last night, Social Security. He's already attacking Social Security. It's insane. I'm telling you. Exactly what they are doing. They just don't care, right, Emma Crawford? I can't sleep either. We do have to do something. Whoever gifted me membership, thank you. I appreciate whoever gifted Jennifer membership. I'm trying my best to stay positive during this dark time. Vera, me too. You know, I come on here giving y'all facts. You know, I'm happy and joyful other times when I'm not on camera. I find myself always feeling like, you know, I'm giving this dire information, but we have to. We have to. I want to be happy again in the sense of you know, not worrying about a democracy falling apart. And prior to this election, I kept telling people that this man was trying to do these types of things and that we shouldn't put him in the office. And then after he gets in the office, it hasn't let up. And I don't know what to do. So I'm asking, and you know, the Democrats, and I don't think our Democrats knew. Maybe they did, and they just didn't want to alarm us. I'm not sure. But not telling us while you guys are just going through the courts, You need our help. You can't sit here and leave us in the dark. You need our help. If you look up, and I suggest people do this, you can go chat GPT. That's why I always start, because then I'll just get sources from it and read the sources. But ask ChatGPT, how do you stop a dictatorship or a democracy falling into a dictatorship? You know what I'm saying? Ask these types of questions, and you'll start to see that if there were any dictatorships or democracies or other forms of government that was falling into a dictatorship, was there a way that that country stopped it, or was it just a free fall? You couldn't stop it once it started. Things of that nature, and it gives you understandings of the things you can do. Like I said, I have 6 things within my article of what we can do. I don't have it on me right now, but I'll be live again tomorrow, probably at 5 p.m. I'm gonna go to sleep here in a few minutes and get up in a few hours. But yeah, I gave it all tonight. That's all I have left. I'm tired. Let me see. Anybody said anything I missed? Unfortunately, that's where I actually agree with dump. Dems do nothing. Yeah. Excuse me. I heard a 13-year-old, 14-year-old girl with cancer is being deported. Yeah, young lady, she was being deported. They wouldn't let her back into the country or something like that. She was going to get this operation of some sort. Yeah, it's uh, it's just terrible. He just got out of prison with no IDs. He's brown skin, dark hair, and tats all over. What ICE is profiling for? Sorry about that, Bucket Kid. They are. They're out. They're out. I'm telling you. And this Gestapo way of doing things, no due process. I mean, you just can't arrest people and just send them places. I mean, how would the courts know which jurisdiction that he got arrested in if you just snatched him and took him to another country or another state? It just makes no sense. I mean, it does for a dictatorship, but it's not there yet. So how are they allowed to do these things? Is there no other agency that can stop them, like the local police in that area? I don't know what it is, but we have to know. And to me, it seems like the Democrats are behind. I don't seem they're behind. They don't have any other answer for it. It's like it's got to happen, and I'm like, it can't, because that's the end of the democracy as we know it. And again, it's not like being hyperbole. Is not like exaggerating. You've read what I've read. I've told you at least what I've read, and you can go look it up. Compare what he did and what Hitler did, and you won't see a difference for the most part. The differences is at whatever phase Donald Trump is right now, him and Hitler were right there. Hitler took it a whole other level. He was able to accomplish the dictatorship. Donald Trump ain't got there yet. So don't compare him to this level to here. All right, I mean, how you do this shit? From this level to here, don't compare him to that. Compare him as the level in which they both are at. They're both here right now. Hitler went further. Trump is just here, and he's moving in that direction. It's insane. It really is. But I got it all out my system. It's on to y'all now to take this information, do with it what you will. I'm going to try to do my damnedest to fight. I don't know exactly my articles, those things I'm going to do. Talking to people. Let me see if I have my article here so I can give you guys the six things since you're here. It's behind the paywall for everybody else, but the whole article. But let's see. Let me read it. Not read it, but the 6 things that we can do. I have a brand called Democracy Matters. You can check that out at shop.straightfactsnochaser.com. One is to expose and communicate the strategy clearly. So for us, we can start writing more about what he's doing, the manipulation, Like Trump is making the economy worse on purpose so he can fix it by taking more power, writing those types of things in your tweets and different things like that to get it out in the ecosphere where people are listening to you about it. Uh, Things like they are firing you and handing the money to billionaires while telling you it's for your own good. Uh, Things of that nature. That's about putting it out there for people to know so that you can keep it persistent. Donald Trump persistently tells lies. We have to persistently tell the truth. Persistently. It's got to be like every day telling the truth. And it's got to be in not a defensive way. And that's hard for me too. But like what I just said to you, just state it as a fact. And that's it. No emotion behind it. He's doing this. Wow. Done deal. You know what I'm saying? That way, you don't get into people's emotions first. You get into they're like, what the hell is that about? And they'll research it. Right? Put pressure on Congress and courts. You got to call, email, protest against it. Call your senators, your representatives, and tell them in Congress about this economic sabotage that he's doing. That you recognize what Donald Trump is doing and what are they doing to stop it. That you recognize it. And they'll be like, "Oh, I want to know what." Not timid. It's like, I am a citizen. I am your, constituent and whatever in California, and I want to know what you guys are doing to stop this economic sabotage by Donald Trump. I don't know what you're doing, but let us know what we can do to support you. Any way, shape, or form. The voting thing is passed. What do you need us to do? We got to work together. You can't be doing this alone because it takes the people. He's got a core of people fooled. And we got to get them to a point where they're not misinformed. And again, it's hard because they put up their shield of don't tell me nothing because they think they know everything and facts don't matter. But once they start losing shit, that's when the facts, as we can see, about to lose my farm. Oh, facts matter now. Okay. So they got to lose something to be able to do it. But now that we know what they got to do, tell them you are going to lose something. Your entire rights to do this. You're going to lose your rights to guns. That man's going to do it because he become a dictator. They don't allow guns. They get rid of the Constitution, which Donald Trump has said multiple times he wants to do. He says, oh, just a portion of it. He's trying to stretch it. If you allow him to take a portion, he'll take the whole thing. That's his whole game. Go as far as I can to see where you'll let me go. And then when I get there, take more, if not all. Fighting the courts, lawsuits, that's what they're doing. If citizens can have lawsuits toward this, let us know. We'll start them. Ask your representatives about that. Push the state governments to prepare economic relief measures that bypass Trump's control. That's one thing you can talk to them about, your people. And that's a really good one. You're welcome, Jennifer Redgate. Squeaky wheel gets to grease. Yes, very much so, Uncle Fatty. So push your state governments to prepare for economic relief measures that bypass Trump's control. Wherever your state can bypass Trump, they need to do it to protect the citizens. And I know in California, we're more of a richer state. We need to do it dramatically. Protect the rule of law. Support the attorneys, the judges, and all these different things of that nature. Expose officials who are enabling Trump's dismantling of the law and institutions. So expose any officials in your city, state, local, whatever, that are doing Trump's bidding in your city and state so that you can get them on blast. Kind of like that Tizzy Ent thing. You find them on anything, record their ass, put them online, and see how they defend themselves when it's out in the open. Only Trump so far is being able to get away with all these egregious things. All these other people who are sycophants, they kind of hold them to the rule of law right now. So if you see them doing some things that are Trump-esque, rat it out. Easy. That's one of the easier things. Encourage whistleblowers, people inside the government, to actually speak. You notice Donald Trump's been in office for a couple months or so. There hasn't been any leaks. It used to be leaks like crazy before. There hasn't been any leaks. Wonder what that's about. Uh, Build economic resistance. Support alternative financial structures that reduce dependence on federal policies controlled by Trump. State-funded relief programs. Local food supply networks. Worker co-ops. These are things you're going to talk to your states, your cities, and local about. Boycott the corporations enabling Trump's policies. Stop buying from them. Period. None of this like for a month or a week. This is democracy. Stop buying from them. Period. If you can, put them on blast. Find out who is supporting Trump. Put them on blast consistently, day to day. Share it. All that. It ain't about us getting clout or anything like that. Oh, I got a lot of followers. We want to see everybody who's telling the truth, having millions of people watching your videos, millions of people reading your text. Because, I mean, if you push it to me, I'll totally forward it to other people because we all got to do that to be able to create this network of telling the truth and getting it out there, and I'm going to try my best to do it and through these texts and different things like that without being a smart ass. That's who I am. But I'm very understanding to be, nice and as well. But it's not working that way. We got to reach them somehow. And I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. You guys aren't like me. So you got like at least, 2-3 legs up on me. But it is what it is. I can rise to the occasion. Trust me. Nothing can hold me back. Counter propaganda and media lies. Any media that Trump is doing, counter it. Because media manipulation is like Trump's biggest weapon, right? He's always putting out a bunch of shit so that you fly after this. What's this piss you off? This piss you off? This piss you off? And you realize none of it ever sticks to him. It's just the weirdest thing. Expose false narratives about the economy, misinformation. Promote factual news sources and use social media strategically to push truth over propaganda. Support people like myself and others who do this because it is us who are going out there to find this information, spending our time, our money, our lives trying to get the truth out. And, we're dedicated to it. Like I'm doing this. I'm tired, but I know my people, and that means all people, American people, need to have this information, need to understand the truth and seek it themselves so they can validate what I'm saying or invalidate if you choose, but find the facts. Creating viral messages that challenges Trump's economic strategy. If you are an artist, if you like to draw, create a character, create something of that nature and make it funny, but tell the truth about what's going on. You can reach people if you can make them laugh and help them, educate them about these types of things. That's one avenue. But be creative. Come up with something to be able to get the message out that it becomes viral and starts to make people think like, wait a minute, he is doing some Hitler shit. You feel me? So those are other ways. Other things, wherever there's voting, get out and vote. Let people know to vote and what's at risk. Democracy really is at risk. It sounds like hyperbole. It is not. It really isn't. So some of the things I just told you, and you can read the article if you so choose, but I had to get that out there for people to know it and act on it. So you can play this video back and hear those things I said and write them down if you didn't. Other than that, thank you for all the wonderful information you have given us this morning. You have given me a lot of information to think about and research. That's awesome, Michelle. That's all I ask for is people to, get out there and research it and fight it because we really do need to do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your boy is about to take this long little nap. I haven't been to sleep yet. It's been a long day, but I had to get that out to you because knowing the truth matters. Our democracy matters. We have to fight for it. It is not hyperbole. It is the absolute truth. research it, share it, and let's get out and save it. You feel me? All right. You guys have a great evening. Y'all be safe. And I'll see you, what is it, 4 in the morning now here, almost 5. I'll see you at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, about 12 hours from now, doing my regular show, uh, and Mr. Straight Fact Show. That's who I am on TikTok and other places and YouTube and other platforms. It's the Mr. Straight Fact Show. You guys take care. Have a great day, positive day, and I'll see you later on. Take care.